Welcome back, everybody, to a Saturday Good News. It is April 2nd, and we are here for the fourth good news, obviously, of the year. And I am super excited. I look forward to these every month because Nick finds the greatest good news stories, and I just look forward to it. So, how many good news stories do you have this month?
I was able to pull out 5 stories for this month's edition of Good News, and
Are you
like
like
you, Chris, I'm very excited.
are you like Santa? You have like a big sack of good news stories that you just pull out and
Yeah, instead
you
of
have
a toy
alone.
sack, I have a sack just full of news stories.
I like it.
Yeah, it's
You're
fancy.
like
I
the new
decorated it.
Santa.
Yeah, yeah, I decorated it. I've got my own, not logo, but a picture on the sack, to make it all festive. It's got that good news festive vibe. So I'm excited for this, and I love good news. There's no other way to say it. I just absolutely love these episodes. I'm
So
ready to
let's
jump
dive
in.
right into the first one.
Yeah, let's get right into this. So the first one I have is just an all-around amazing story. A 14-year-old boy went from paralyzed to walking again through just some pure determination. So Kyle Cohen had been paralyzed after a tornado ripped through his house back in December and sent him and his family flying about 180 feet away. He woke up not being able to move his legs and was sent to a St. Louis hospital, where it was determined that he had a fracture that involved all of his vertebrae and left him paralyzed basically from the belly button down. And for 6 weeks, he wasn't able to see his parents as they were recovering from their own injuries. But when they did all see each other again, Kyle was back to walking. He was back on his feet. Some determination along with work with his doctors had him walking on a treadmill. And within 12 weeks, they actually had him walking downstairs. So he is on his way back to enjoying his normal everyday life, but just an absolutely tough injury to get through, trying to learn how to walk again after all of that. After recovering, he's still on his road to recovery. There's still a long way to go, but with all the determination he's showed so far, you can only imagine he will be
What?
able to
Yeah.
make it through just fine.
This is a great good news story. A tragedy hit during those storms in December. I think we all remember those storms, and he's persevering and learning how to walk again. It's just, it's a terrible tragedy, but it has good news in it.
Yeah, and when you go through an injury like this, it can be, I can only imagine, right, how disheartening that can be and how easy it could be to just get down on yourself or just be frustrated. But to fight through it all and to start walking again and to go through that rehab and recover, that's just awesome.
I agree. What do you have for your second good news story?
All right, second good news story. Just an absolute display of what I can only call luck, right? And a lot of the reason I picked the story is because we've had similar ones on here before. And so I found this and I just need to throw it in. A 10-year-old in England, like I said, has just been gifted with such pure luck because George Henderson was just scouring a field with a metal detector during a charity dig one day and stumbled across something that can only be considered amazing. A little digging revealed a priory seal, and if you don't know what a priory seal is, it was something that they used back in back before internet, back when letters were sent all the time in kind of like the mid 15th century, 13th century, along that line, and it was basically their form of a stamp. Now, a lot of these were made of paper strips or lace strips, but this one was actually copper. And it displays the Virgin Mary and a child with a Latin seal that translates to the seal of Priory and Convent of Butley of Adam Canon Regular. The seal ended up selling at auction for £4,000, which is a little over 5,000 US dollars, and the money will now be split between 10-year-old George and the owner of the land where the seal was found.
I mean, talk about freaking luck there. I mean, almost, you said in US dollars, $5,000, and
Yeah,
he just found
5,000
it in a
plus.
field.
Exactly, just 5 inches underground. This seal was from like the 13th century, 13th, 15th century, right around that time. And it was just buried there 5 inches underground, and he just happened to find it.
Just talk about freaking luck.
It's absolutely insane, and we've had stories like this before. I don't know if you remember on one of our prior good news episodes. There was a 13-year-old who found a bunch of like ancient weaponry and tools and such, and so just these kids getting so lucky, I can't imagine what that must be like.
We just don't have that luck, but good for them. You know, $5,000 just hidden 5 inches underground. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Oh my god, it just makes you want to take a metal detector out anywhere, wherever
Yeah,
you
it really
can, and
does.
just
And we say
scour
this
around,
every
look
time, but I
around.
don't think either one of us have done it.
No, and it's sad because I think I still have a metal detector somewhere. I
I bought my
think.
father one for Christmas one year because he was going to do this.
Hmm.
Didn't find crap.
Oh, it can be tough. It can be tough.
What do you have for your third good news story?
All right, so this one, this one just made me laugh. We have traditional good news stories, and then we have these ones that are just absolutely hilarious. So we've had cat burglars. If you remember from one of our normal news episodes, we had a good news story about a cat who was able to literally open the door and break into his owner's house. But now we have cat thieves. I'm not even joking. There was a 1 year old cat in England who took it upon himself to just steal any small objects he could get his little paws on and could get through the cat flap. So he's stolen toy dinosaurs, clothes pegs, and even a giant rubber duck. This cat is just taking it all. He has taken glasses, he's taken cutlery, and so much more. It's gotten so crazy that his owner has actually put up a shelf outside her house along with a sign that basically says, "My cat loves to take things, so if any of these things are yours, feel free to take it back." And all I can say about this is let's just be glad that these criminal cats, this one and the burglar from the previous story, can't form a dynamic duo.
You know, I think it's funny that the cat is stealing things, but then the owner puts like a box outside of our house, like, "Hey, any of this yours? Take it back. Sorry, my cat's a burglar. We're working on it."
And it's just so hilarious because the owner first discovered it when she just randomly found a little green toy stegosaurus on her living room floor one day. And then others started
Yeah,
showing
like,
up
where
and
did this come from?
and then one morning she woke up with one on her pillow right next to her head with the cat just sitting there looking at her. Like, yeah, I did this. What about it?
Yeah, that's just funny.
It's just one of those stories that
It
was
makes
too
you laugh.
funny and too adorable to leave out.
So, what do you got for your fourth good news story?
All right, so for the fourth story, we have celebrity chefs to the rescue. And that is because a middle school cafeteria cook in England was left a little short staffed when the other cook for the day was out and the alternate staff member for the cafeteria was out with COVID. So, ahead of starting the lunch the cooking for the lunch that day for the students, she called into a radio show where they were actually speaking with celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay about his upcoming show, Future Cooking Stars. And she made a little ask, and that was to have Ramsey come in and help her cook. And Ramsey did have to decline, but he didn't leave her hanging. He actually sent one of his other chefs, Rob Roy Cameron, to the school to help cook with her. And he did just that, and the teachers and the school staff welcomed him, so he was able to get into the kitchen and help cook for these 300 students. And so, celebrities, they're helping out in more ways than you might expect.
That's a that's just crazy. Gordon Ramsay sends one of his, chefs to help this lunch lady cook. I bet that was the best lunch that those kids
The
ever had at school.
the best school lunch you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And just to me it's just so cool where Ramsey was just like, "No, I can't come in, but
Yeah. But I'm
we
I'm
won't
not
leave you
leaving you
hanging.
hanging.
We're not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to send my chef in to help you out."
What do you got for your fifth and final good news story? Is this like the grand finale, the big, humongous story?
This story was just kind of amazing, and I almost, not that I couldn't believe it, but it was definitely just amazing to read and shocking to read, so I figured I'd put it last. So, a lawyer from the UK was smashing records and raising money all at the same time because Victoria Evans rode literally in a rowboat across the Atlantic in just 40 days, 19 hours. This trip took her from the Canary Islands all the way to Barbados, and all in just a 22-foot rowing boat. This feat has broken the record for the fastest solo female row across the Atlantic. Before she started all of this, before she started training, she had never rowed before. Not once. And then she trained for 3 years just to take on this journey. And then she ended up rowing 2,559 nautical miles, and she now holds that world record. And just to note, she broke the record by 9 days. The previous record had been just over 49 days, and she got in 40. Uh, and this feat, this trip also raised £24,000 for the UK charity known as Women in Sport. And all I can say to this whole thing is, great job, Victoria. That is absolutely amazing.
Over 2,000 miles in less than 40 days
She rode
and beat the previous record by 9 days.
by nine
I mean,
days.
that 9 days, that's, I mean, just doing it in the first place is quite the achievement, but beating the previous by 9 days,
It's absolutely insane. The fact that she had never rowed before she started her training and then just
is
trained
just
for three
amazing.
years. It's just crazy. She was rowing for 12 to 14 hours per day in order to achieve this. I don't
That
know about you,
just,
Chris, but that
that
makes
just proves,
makes
you
my body
know,
hurt.
yeah. I mean, that just proves determination.
That's determination. That is some hard work. That's the definition of hard
Yeah,
work.
I'm blown away.
Yeah, great job, Victoria. Love to see things like this.
That is the end of this month's Saturday Good News episode. Nick, you always find the greatest good news stories. I don't know how you do it, but you are the king of good news for a reason. We will be back here tomorrow morning for a week ahead, what you should be expecting next week. But until then, make sure you follow us on BBP News' Twitter account for the latest 24-hour breaking news so you're always in the know. Until tomorrow morning, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody.
Bye, guys.